So, oh, all right. Didn't get any of those. It's hard to get the achievements first try on brutal. I did a few on the early ones, but now it's hard.
Hello, Kerrigan. I've been waiting for you.
I'm surprised you haven't tried to escape.
Escape? My dear, I'm afraid you've got it all wrong. Really? Did you think I'd keep an animal like you close to me without some kind of insurance policy? Clearly, you are my greatest failure. Now, at long last, you will die. Change of plans.
You can never suffer enough for all the lives you've ruined, Arcturus.
I made you into a monster, Kerrigan.
You made us all into monsters. Thank you, Jim. For everything.
My pleasure, darling. Always was.
I now see my true enemy. He waits for me in the void, wielding powers I cannot imagine. I go to face him, having renounced everything. My humanity, my identity, the man I love. But I will not face this enemy alone. I am the swarm.
And there we go. I was I sort of expected that ending because I do remember it specifically being said that Arcturus was really, 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 really trying to reassemble the Xel'Naga artifact. And I can't remember if it was ever specifically said, but I think I remember a line from Warfield when we fought him at Char saying that the artifact had been moved back to Core Hall. So when it didn't play any, when it wasn't involved in the final mission or the mission before that, I knew it would be somewhere in the closing artifact or the closing credits, closing cinematic, whatever. Um, for those of you that didn't play Wings of Liberty, the Xel'Naga artifact is a special artifact which is able to cause extreme amounts of damage, basically unmake the creations of the Xel'Naga, which are the Zerg and the Protoss. Or at least the Zerg. We never actually saw it used against the Protoss, but I assume it also is effective against the Protoss. And it was actually used to de-Zergify Kerrigan, which is why at the beginning of this, Kerrigan was human. So by doing that, Arcturus could strip Kerrigan back to being human and just kill her, which is why he had that gun. One slight kind of quandary or confusion I have is that the entire actual mission, Arcturus seemed to be gunning for Raynor. All of the explicit attacks that happened at his command went after the Hyperion. So it seems odd that he forgot that Raynor was there in the last cinematic. At the same time, though, it sort of also makes sense that he was going after Raynor specifically because he didn't have a contingency plan against Raynor. All of his plotting for the entire game was, what do I do when Kerrigan shows up? Especially since he had actually just, had Raynor under custody until basically right before Kerrigan attacked Core Hall. So he very much did not have anything in the works in order to deal with Raynor and to deal with the fact that Raynor was coming for him. So that makes sense that, his plan wasn't able to account for Raynor. But it seemed a bit telegraphed to me. Overall, though, obviously it's Starcraft. I love Starcraft. The ending, I don't know. I am really kind of curious to see what will happen in Legacy of the Void, but I do have to say, my one slight letdown of Heart of the Swarm is that Heart of the Swarm played out pretty much exactly how I thought it would. Back when I finished Wings of Liberty and I was thinking about the plot, I thought Heart of the Swarm was going to be, the Zerg campaign. It's going to be Kerrigan. I actually thought Kerrigan would be trying to fight against the Dark Voice or whatever, and trying to, wrest control of the Swarm from him. But I also knew that the continuation of the war against Arcturus had been kind of set up, and I kind of figured that would be where Arcturus fell, because I couldn't figure out how in the Protoss campaign Arcturus would have anything to do with it. So I sort of expected this epilogue before I even picked up the game. However, I do have to say, the Dahaka storyline and the Primal Zerg was beautiful. I did not expect anything like that. I didn't see that coming in any way, shape, or form. So that was awesome. The whole where Zerg came from. And I sort of knew. The nice thing about it is that the initial Zerg and the whole evolution thing, it's an addition, but it doesn't contrast with the lore. The lore was the Xel'Naga went out, and they made, these Zerg things that would kind of naturally evolve. And then they made the Overmind to control them. But it does make sense that since that's the order of it, there would be some that were still the original primal state. So that's awesome. Really like that. The last part of the ending where she flies up to the Leviathan, I kind of feel a little let down. I don't know. I guess Kerrigan just can't trust anybody is her problem. So, she'll work with Raynor, and after she kills Minsk, she abandons Core Hall and is overall not a bad person, but she can't actually work with anybody, which is a little sad. I wish you'd work with people. You should be a better person, Kerrigan. Let's see. I'm kind of waiting right now. At the end of Wings of Liberty, there was a really, really awesome musical song that came on towards the end. But I don't know if it will happen here. I'm hoping it does, though. I do really like the Heart of the Swarm did revise all of the music in the just general missions, which was awesome. That was fantastic. Not hearing anything, though. It still was really weird hearing Igus's voice between every mission. I mean, I know she's a voice actress, she needs work, but I'm just like, oh, it's so pitch perfect. Wow. Wow, that's... Tuba! Peter... What is that? Walrach's principle. The word principal makes sense. You know, you have a part, and whenever there's a lead, he's the one that plays it. But when there's only one tuba, do you really need to say which one is the principal tuba? Wow. So, looking forward, just at a glance, that... I'm kind of wondering how Heart of the Swarm is going, or not Heart of the Swarm, Legacy of the Void, which is the Protoss expansion, which will probably be out in like 2 years or something, is going to play into it. Because this one, Wings of Liberty left off with Kerrigan becoming human that led straight into Heart of the Swarm with Kerrigan being human. I don't know how Legacy of the Void is going to pick up from this. You know? The Protoss are not on good terms with Kerrigan. At all. And so Kerrigan's going into the Void. Are the Protoss going to go in the Void as well and just find Kerrigan there? I don't know how the transition is going to work, because the problem is the Protoss were basically not involved in Heart of the Swarm at all. You know, Zeratul came by once and said, hey, you need to go back to Zemus. Zerus, wow. Go back to Zerus, find the Metroids, that's the ultimate evolution. No, that's Zebus. Too many Z places. But go back home in order to evolve. And that was the only time the Protoss ever showed up. In fact, really, did we really fight any Protoss? I guess we did with the whole chapter about that cult that we were fighting along with Dr. Narud, or who's actually Samir Duran. So we did fight the Protoss in that. But that seems like such a subchapter now. I ended up getting really, really sidetracked, and I couldn't play this game. And finally, I was sitting here this morning, and I was just like, look, I've got to finish this game. Good Lord. There's no excusing it. And I did. What do you think we're not going to get an awesome little song? And yeah, see, that's a Protoss ship right now. I don't know why this is being shown. This doesn't feel like something that she's shown in terms of Heart of the Swarm. Man, a lot of people worked on this. Good Lord, the producers is like half a page long. But there's only 3 technical writers. That's a little sad. Interns. That would be freaking awesome if like your internship was developing Heart of the Swarm. Oh my gosh. If I was still in college, I would just like dream about that. I'm obviously out of college, and I have a full-time job, and I'm getting promoted, and things are going great, so not looking in that direction career-wise, but still, oh my gosh, just think about that. Wow. I do have to say, a little bit sidetracked, I really, really, really respect Blizzard for keeping Battle.net free all this time. I remember when Battle.net came out. Yes, I actually remember when Battle.net came out with the launch of Starcraft 1. And it was this free web service that lets you play games against other people. And it was absolutely free. And everybody, and I mean everybody, right from the start was trying to charge for that stuff. And I had a conversation with my dad about it, and he said, oh, they'll charge for it eventually. And here we are, 15 years later, still free. I'm really one of the only ones that's still free. Because for the most part, I mean, the internet itself is free, and there's a lot of places that you can just, like, connect with your friends. Actually, I guess that's not true, because Steam, most things are free now. But Battle.net is such a complex and interesting setup. I guess the real one I'm comparing is the freaking Xbox Live, which charges for what everyone else does free. And Blizzard kind of set that into place, so thank you, Blizzard. I know I'm rambling here. I don't want to cut out because, I don't know, maybe something will happen at the end of the credits, Plus, I think we should, make sure that we support these guys. Good job, Russell Eason and Gene Rotoch. You guys are... Well, what actually is a key request? Oh, key processors? I don't quite know what that job is. So I don't know how much I should appreciate them. You know? Obviously I appreciate them. They made the game. They're awesome. But I'm just like, it's like, I don't know what you do. I'm starting to think I'm not going to get a song, guys. And that sucks. I think I deserve a song. But overall thoughts on the game, yeah, it's a good game. It's remarkably well done, because the thing is, StarCraft, very, very few people play StarCraft in order to play the single player. Single player is interesting, but the vast pull of the game is the multiplayer, which I'm not going to play because the games take like 30 minutes each. You wouldn't want to see that, I don't think. And if you did, there's plenty of people way better at StarCraft than I am out there. Oh, I am terrible at the game, as you probably saw from watching me play it. Wow. Other product analysis. Bro. Good lord. Additional testing, Jimmy. Anything you need tested, send it to Jimmy. He'll do it. More interns. Good lord. This is why games are so overblown now. Why can't we make a game without having 70,000 people work on it? Actually, Blizzard actually said that that's one of the, not really complaints they had, but they wanted to go back to the days where you could have a 12-person game instead of all this. And they made they're making a little small tablet game called Hearthstone, which is really interesting, and I will probably play that as well. So, because I've always loved Magic the Gathering, things like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up! I'm not going to go into a big story here. It's nothing to do with StarCraft. So I do have to say, wow. This has been the most murderific expansion yet, I think. Because we killed Nerud, we killed Minsk, we killed Warfield. Huh. Because I think the only other thing that's ever come out where we where we killed major players was the original Brood War, where both Phoenix and General, what was his name? General Duke got killed. And granted, obviously, people are going to say, well, no, I mean, the whole, the whole United Earth Directorate got killed. Generally speaking, in terms of murder, I don't count the death of characters introduced in the expansion as, kind of a big swing. Introducing a character and then killing them immediately right off, not a big deal. But, Warfield, Nerud, and Minsk were both... Well, okay, Warfield was only introduced in the last game. But Minsk and Nerud were introduced 10 years ago. So that's a pretty major development that they got killed. Pretty impressive. I really don't understand why the Hyperion landed in that last mission. Why don't you just stay airborne and shoot things? I mean, granted, I guess maybe... just build a command center or something. I don't know. I guess they wanted a better, logical reason why you had to protect Raynor. I wonder if the mission would have ended if Raynor got killed. I don't remember seeing that. I mean, I always kept him safe, but still. And back to the stupid Protoss background. I mean, it's not stupid. It's really pretty. It's really, really well designed, and I like it. I just don't understand what it's doing here. I'm starting to understand why they gave me, speed up buttons. I should probably use them, but I feel, after all this time, I feel like that would be disrespectful. I feel like I shouldn't, skip by these people. I mean, yeah, these may be, we're like the Latin American Spanish translators. Wait a second. We had 4 technical writers and we have 6 translators? What in the world? Or maybe that's the technical writer as in they, wrote the help files for the, engines that were used by the other people in order to make stuff. That could make sense because they're a technical writer. I'm going to say that's what happened. Additional localization. For all the localization we couldn't do. Good lord. Why does Brazil really need all the... Oh, wow. I I don't know that I care, but I do get a little annoyed whenever they have voice actors. They don't tell you who they played. I mean, granted, I wouldn't know. You know, if you told me that blah, 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 blah was the Portuguese voice of Rainer, that wouldn't make any difference to me. But still, I hate that in movies. You know, whenever they come up and the thing ends and it goes to black and it just starts putting names up. Russell Crowe, George Clooney. And I'm just like, most of the time for the leads, you know. But occasionally you'll see a movie and then all of a sudden some really famous name will come up. Like Guy Pearce. And I just sit there in the movie theater and I'm like, who did he play? And I can't figure it out because there are some actors that are so iconic you can almost always recognize them. There's other ones that are brilliant actors, but they are so good at their roles that you don't recognize them because they're not consistent. They do so many different things that you can just forget, like lose track of who they are. Dat again. Oh boy. Yunwin, jeez. I'm surprised it takes this many people to do the localization stuff. You would think all they would have to do... I mean, I'm just remembering back in the days of, like, the 90s where the localization team was, like, 3 guys. Because all you really had to do was re-record the voices and, you know, change the names in the thing. I don't understand why all these people are necessary. But, you know, who knows? That's a weird name. Naomi Augustine. That sounds like a name that should not go together. Good lord. I'm sorry about this, guys. Wow. I mean, I'm not really sorry. I'm just kind of sorry. I'm so tempted to skip ahead, but it's got to be close to done now. And I've sat here and, you know, let everyone be seen. I just... Hire less people. I'm out of things to talk about. I do want to give a very, very special thank you to Opera for not meowing like an annoying little kitty this time, like he did in the last video. Yeah. I should mention, Opera is my cat, as I'm sure you figured out. I don't know if I've ever actually said his name before. I'm usually just like, Cat, be quiet. So, yes, he has a name. I didn't actually pick the name for him. Nothing really against it, but I don't think I would have picked Opera as the name of a cat. But he already knew his name, and I didn't want to confuse him by changing it. International operate. Good freaking lord. Part of me almost wants a pop-up that says, where do you live? We'll only give you the ones that matter for you. Okay, leave the dongle alone, kitty. I know I came over here and pet you, but that means you should play with me, not with the dongle. Ow. Kitty, kitty, your paws are made of sharp. Southeast Asia. Kevin Carter does not seem like he should be working in Southeast Asia. Now, Thomas Mayang? Yes, very much so. wonder how many offices Blizzard has around the world, actually. And does this? I'm serious. Does this not look like the Frozen Throne, actually? Instead of, that's supposed to be the Overmind. I don't know why the Overmind is frozen, but I swear, looking at it just at a glance, it looks like the Frozen Throne. And there's the Hyperion. Sailing through space. What Jim's going to do now that Kerrigan basically just left? Is he going to, kind of give up, or... Those crazy lovebirds. That is one of the kind of really sad things about it, because Raynor is trying so hard to get her back to being human so they can continue their normal life. And Kerrigan doesn't really want to be human, but she still wants him. It's like the whole, I want to make enough so you don't have to work anymore, but the woman's like, but I have a career, I'm doing stuff. Only at, galactic slaughter of millions scale. And esports, the best kind of sports. You guys like football? You're wrong. Is C in China? I mean, KR is obviously Korean, and EU is Europe, and NA is North American. I guess CN must be China. It seems weird they have a different one for Korea and China. I know they're different countries and everything, but it's just, you have one for Europe, one for all of North America. Korea and China seem like they should be able to merge somewhat. Legal department. If you want to sue us, contact these guys. Seriously, why do you need this many people in the legal department? I mean, you're making a game. What possible legal concerns can you have? Gee, that was weird. My computer just decided to tab out for no reason. I'm over here laying on the couch. I'm nowhere even near it, and then all of a sudden, just death. Death happened. See, look, Human Resources Asia, but they've got the KR for Korean and CN for China. It looks like someone in Taiwan specifically. I guess is that just where they live, or they have different offices, or what? I guess so, maybe. Huh. Because those are a little... I mean, Asia's a little more spread out than Europe. You could have the German voice actor, come over to your English office or whatever, because that's like... If I was doing work and they wanted me to go to a neighboring state. I'm not going to tell you where I live. Haha. But maybe a little harder over there. Uh-oh. It's going to a crescendo. Are we almost done? Payroll, administration. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? No, I'm done. Sorry, guys. I waited as long as I could. That was just getting annoying as anything. And I'm glad I did, because already I'm seeing so much more stuff. Future reference me. If they give you an option to speed up the credits, take it. Oh my goodness. What is this? Oh, we're back to the original theme from Wings of Liberty. Bum bum. Ba 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 ba. Man. So glad I sped that up. After forever. It's probably in there for 20 minutes. I may cut all this out, actually. Because it goes on forevers. And I don't want to get... You also have to watch that. Wow, that's it? I sort of expected something. Don't really know what I expected, but I expected more than that.